All right, let's talk about something huge that's happening right now, mostly behind the scenes at the world's biggest tech companies. It's a high-stakes race, but it's not about the next killer app or new algorithm. It's about the very foundation of artificial intelligence, the silicon itself. We're going to dive deep into what is, no joke, a new arms race for custom AI chips.
To really wrap your head around the scale of this whole thing, I just want you to look at this number for a second. Yeah, $500 billion. So the big question is, what on earth costs that much?
Well, that massive number, that's the potential price tag for OpenAI's incredibly ambitious plan to build out its very own AI hardware. And let me be clear, we're not just talking about buying a few more servers here. No. This is a complete, fundamental strategic shift for the company that brought us ChatGPT. And believe me, it is sending some serious shockwaves through the entire tech world.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll kick things off with OpenAI's massive new deal, and then we're going to dig into the trillion-dollar why behind this whole shift. After that, we'll see what the other tech giants are up to, how the current champ, NVIDIA, is fighting back, and finally, what all of this really means for the future of AI.
Okay, first up, the deal that has the entire industry buzzing. OpenAI is making a huge pivot. They're done just buying chips off the shelf. Now, they're teaming up with a semiconductor giant, Broadcom, to design their very own from the ground up.
I mean, the scale here is just mind-blowing. We're talking about a 5-fold jump in their computing power. And these chips, they're custom-built for one specific job, inference. That's the magic that happens when you ask ChatGPT a question and it gives you an answer. But here's the really wild part. OpenAI actually used its own AI to help design these new chips. Think about that for a second. It's AI designing better hardware for itself. Kind of futuristic, right?
So that naturally leads us to the billion-dollar question, or in this case, the trillion-dollar why. Why on earth are companies like OpenAI pouring this kind of money into building their own stuff? Well, it really comes down to three big strategic reasons.
First up, and it's a big one, money. Custom chips can cut their computing costs by like 40 to 50%. That's a huge deal when you're operating at their scale. Second, it's all about control. They want to get out from under the thumb of a single supplier and avoid any bottlenecks. And third, performance. A generic chip is fine, but a chip that's tailor-made for your specific AI model, that's a total game changer for speed and efficiency.
And you know that second point about control? This chart says it all. Just look at this. Right now, one company, NVIDIA, has a stranglehold on the market. We're talking 90%. When one company has that much power, it's a massive risk for everyone else. If you're Google or Amazon or OpenAI, you simply can't have your entire future dependent on one supplier. You've got to take control.
And look, OpenAI is not the first one to this party. Not by a long shot. What they're doing is just the latest, loudest move in a much bigger trend. This has become a full-on silicon race, with every single major tech player building their own custom AI engines.
So let's take a quick look at the major players. You've got Google, who's basically the OG in this space with its TPUs. Then there's Amazon, going for the whole shebang with specialized chips for both training and inference. And then you have Meta, who's laser-focused on optimizing chips for its own massive internal needs.
Seriously, Google saw this coming years ago. They started way back in 2016. Their chips, that tensor processing units, or TPUs, are so incredibly powerful that even Apple, the company that loves to make its own silicon, decided to use Google's TPUs to train their own AI. And by keeping these chips exclusive to Google Cloud, that's a brilliant move to create a huge competitive advantage.
Amazon's approach is really, really clever. They're basically attacking the problem from two sides. They have Trainium chips, which are the absolute workhorses for the heavy lifting of building and training massive new AI models. Then they have Inferentia chips, which are all about running those models efficiently and cheaply. It's a really smart, full-stack approach to control the entire AI pipeline.
Now, Meta is playing a slightly different game. Their focus is completely internal. They're not trying to sell these chips to anyone. Nope. They're using them to power their own gigantic machine. Facebook, Instagram, all those recommendation engines and ads. For a company that big, even a tiny improvement in efficiency from a custom chip means saving an absolute fortune.
Okay, so you've got Google, Amazon, Meta, and now OpenAI all building their own stuff. You'd think NVIDIA, the king of the hill, would be shaking in its boots, right? Well, not so fast. The reigning champion is not going down without a serious fight. This really gets to the heart of the conflict.
On one side, you have the challengers building these hyper-specialized chips, but NVIDIA's response is multi-layered. They keep making their general-purpose GPUs ridiculously fast, but their real secret weapon? It's the software, an ecosystem called CUDA. It's what developers have been using for years, and it creates this deep, powerful moat around their business that is incredibly hard for anyone else to cross.
And they are not slowing down. I mean, just look at this roadmap. The Blackwell chip in 2024 delivered a massive performance jump. Blackwell Ultra is on deck for 2025. And a whole new architecture, Vera Rubin, is already slated for 2026. They are innovating at a blistering pace, basically daring everyone else to even try and keep up.
So, where does this all leave us? What's the big picture here? Well, this whole arms race is basically creating a brand new and much more fragmented landscape for the hardware that's going to run our world.
What's emerging is basically a two-lane highway for AI hardware. In one lane, you've got NVIDIA, and they're likely going to keep dominating the world of general-purpose GPUs for everyone who needs flexibility. But in the other lane, you've got the tech giants, the hyperscalers, and for them, the future is all about these super-efficient, custom-designed chips that do one thing and do it perfectly for their needs.
The fancy term for this entire strategy is vertical integration, but all it really means is controlling your own stack, from the bottom all the way to the top, from the silicon itself to the software to the final app. A perfect example is what Apple did with their M-series chips in Macs. This is the exact same playbook, just scaled up for the entire world of cloud AI.
And really, this quote from OpenAI CEO Sam Altman just nails it. If you do your own chips, you control your destiny. It's not just about costs or speed anymore. In a world that's going to be defined by AI, this is about survival. It's about controlling your own future. And that leaves us with one last really big question to think about. This whole thing, it's more than just a battle for market share. This is a race to build the literal foundation for artificial general intelligence. So as this custom silicon arms race heats up, the question is no longer just what the future will look like, but who exactly will get to control it.